As I'm sure you've heard, the Ox, Evan Centopani, and Prime Nutrition are no more. Christian Geek from StrengthAddicts.com and Strength Addicts VIP on Facebook. You know, this is all really very bizarre because just last year on Muscular Development Magazine, I read, last July actually, not even a year ago, I read that Evan Centopani had signed a multi-year contract with Prime Nutrition. I also saw videos on YouTube with Evan, Aaron, and PJ where it almost seemed like Evan was owning a piece of the company or had a stake in the company or was going to somehow invest in the company. And it was all very bizarre because of the fact that Evan had been with Universal Nutrition. You know, all those animal ads, that was Evan. And he was catapulted into fame with Universal. Universal did a lot for him. They actually signed him back in 2007 when he was still an amateur. I mean, even by today's standards, amateurs really don't get signed. 10 years ago, even less than 20 years ago, was practically unheard of. So again, Universal was really there to bat for Evan, and he left them to go to Prime. Now, I really don't know if he left Prime or Prime asked him to leave. I guess at this point we would just be speculating. But I have to say, though, leaving Universal, a company he had been with for 7 or 8 years, to go to Prime, take a risk on Prime, he placed well at this year's Arnold Classic. A lot of people wanted to see him place a lot higher. A lot of people believe that Evan's a future Mr. Olympia, and I still believe that. I mean, yeah, he's very photogenic, and sometimes he sort of fades a little bit on stage, but he definitely has the potential to be a Mr. Olympia alongside Justin Compton as well. But I don't know if maybe the fact he didn't take a second or a third or whatever, maybe that, caused Prime to drop him. I don't know. Me personally, I'm of the opinion that he was dropped, simply because it doesn't make sense for him to have left Universal and said so many great things about Prime to then all of a sudden leave. Some people are saying that possibly it's going to be like the start of a Centopani Nutrition or something like that. But I have to be honest with you, there's a lot of athletes out there that have their own supplement lines. I mean, there's Dexter Jackson, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, there's Rich Piana. I mean, there's so many people out there. There's so much competition. Honestly, I just don't know that Evan really would want to do that. I mean, again, putting out a supplement line is kind of like owning a gym. It's like, really, honestly, unless you're really successful, you're either going to break even or lose a lot of money. And so I don't think that that's really something Evan's going to do. And I don't think that, if Evan left Universal to go to Prime to put out his own products, why then would he leave Prime to put out his own products? That doesn't make any sense. And if it doesn't make any sense, generally, it's not the truth. Now, aside from that, there are some people already, for example, this gentleman from Project Bodybuilding, I don't know, I don't even know what his name is, I'm not going to speculate. He says, having once been employed by Aaron and PJ, he knows they can be quite demanding. He says that he has an unbiased opinion, I guess because Prime doesn't sponsor him. Very unbiased, Blackstone Labs sponsors you, which is basically the same company. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. One is totally, they're sister companies, right? They're different companies. Anyways, he says here, and this is something I want to mention. I'm going to read here. This is from projectbodybuilding.com, and I'm going to read, quote, Evan was tasked to help formulate many of the new products that would be hitting the shelves at retail stores across the world. But so was John Meadows, and he talks about John Meadows' products, and John Meadows is still with Prime. And he says here, just reading down, he says, if Aaron or PJ tasked Centopani with the duty of formulating his own multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement, and he returns to them with a list of ingredients that will cost $79.99 at wholesale level, nobody in their right mind will be able to shell out $150 at the retail cost for a 30-day supply, no matter how much Evan Centopani believes in it. So, end quote. So that almost suggests, and the name of that article, if you guys want to look it up, is Centopani and Prime Nutrition Part Ways. No surprise from ProjectBodybuilding.com. That to me reads like a load of crap because honestly, and of course they're sponsored by Iron Mag Labs, and I believe they're also sponsored by Blackstone Labs, and he says he has an unbiased opinion, but sponsored by those two companies, I don't see how he could. But anyways, the point of the matter is that who are we talking to here? First of all, there is no legal, natural ingredient that you could come up with that's going to cost $79.99 retail, and they're going to have to sell for $150. First of all, that's a bunch of bullshit. There's nothing out there. What? Tribulus, Maca, fucking B vitamins. The only real expensive supplement is COQ10. Other than that, what possibly could cost $79.99 at the retail level? So that's just a load of crap right there. And selling something for $150, that's another load of crap. So Project Bodybuilding, please just shut the fucked up. I'm in public. I can't tell you. Let me say it here quietly. Shut the fuck up. But anyways, speaking of potato chips, we're already starting to see, you know, these websites trying to put the blame on Evan. And, you know, this site's sponsored again by Blackstone Labs, so, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I'm sure, you know, in the coming weeks, people are going to start, you know, sort of maligning and lambasting Evan. He also says here that Evan didn't get any promo, or what else does he say here? I don't want to read, I don't want to misconstrue what he says here. Let me see here. It's so bad to do this. Let's see, but let me see. I don't know. It just seems like see, here we go. As an observer of all things bodybuilding, I was the first to point out that Evan was doing virtually no promotion for Prime Nutrition. He made some early. This is a bunch of crap. I mean, honestly, this Project Bodybuilding, these stupid little websites that sprung up. You know, you got your Project Bodybuilding, your Iron Affinity. You got the other one that moron. What's it called? Bodybuilding RX or something. Again, you know, Erickson, whatever, Anders Erickson. I don't know what his name is, but the point is, you have all these like little websites that sprung out of nowhere, and you know they're all sponsored by Blackstone Labs, and they're all going to say or Blackstone Labs or Prime or whatever they're calling their companies these days. You know, Iron Mag Labs, whatever. I know Iron Mag Labs is a separate company and whatever. I don't know. But the point is that they're all going to start saying, you know, if this Project Bodybuilding's saying it, they're all going to start saying, oh, you know, Evan did this, Evan did that. And honestly, you know, as someone that's been, you know, basically burned by Mr. Singerman in the past, you know, I know all too well that, you know, I mean, I tried to bury the hatchet. You know, I tried to, like, you know, work with Mr. Singerman there. I tried to not work with him. I would never work with him, and I was surprised that Evan wanted to work with them. But I tried to extend the olive branch. But seeing this, honestly, Evan Centopani is a good bodybuilder. He's a hard worker. You know, he's put the time in. He's got a great physique. And if this company doesn't have, you know, the stones to really, you know, sit there with him and wait and invest in a sure thing like Universal did, then, I mean, come on. I mean, this guy's like top 6 in the world at the Arnold Classic, and he's, you know, doing the Olympia. He does all of these videos, and what do you mean he didn't promote for your company? Are you crazy? He didn't promote for your company? The reality is that next week or 2 weeks from now or whenever they decide to dump poor John Meadows, who is just like a genius, they're going to say the same things about him. You know what I mean? And hopefully they never drop him. But, you know, the reality of it is that, you know, to say that Evan didn't promote the company is a load of crap. To say that Evan didn't, you know, bust his ass and bring the best package on stage is a load of crap. Again, this is not coming, though, and I must clarify, this is from Project Bodybuilding. This is not like, you know, a formal or informal statement from Prime or Blackstone Labs or any of those companies. But again, you know, coming from a person that, you know, knowing how Aaron Singerman is and knowing his disposition, I'm sure that, you know, this sort of article is pleasing to him and to PJ and to all the folks over there. And I know Project Bodybuilding is not going to put out, you know, an article that's going to rub them the wrong way because they'll lose their sponsorship money. You know what I mean? So again, this whole idea that it's an unbiased, and I take exception to this, you know, and I wasn't going to, you know, I was just simply going to read a quote from this Project Bodybuilding, and I wasn't going to attack Project Bodybuilding. But you know what? It annoys me. It really annoys me. And I'm not sponsored by Blackstone Labs. Blackstone Labs and Prime and all those companies can, you know, kiss my ass, honestly. Because I got to tell you the truth. I am about the truth. You know, you got to speak the truth. You got to keep it 100. So actually, I'm pretty sure they dropped Evan. And Evan is being a consummate professional, as he always has been. If you go to Evan Centopani or Centopani.com, whatever his website is, he actually, you know, releases a very kind statement. But honestly, you're not going to report to me on MD less than a year ago, Evan signs a multi-year contract, and Evan's on there on YouTube with these momos on one on each side talking about, you know, how he really feels like he can come out with his product line, and he really feels like this is a company for him where he can grow and where they respect him, and almost like he's going to invest or own a piece of it. And then less than a year later, he's out, you know, out on the curb. There's no way, at least in my opinion, that they let him go. I mean, that he went on his own. In fact, I would be interested to see if they even give him a severance package. You know what I mean? If there was even a contract to begin with. You know, some of the top athletes in the IFBB aren't even like formally signed. They haven't actually formally signed a contract to the companies they work with. I mean, again, you know, every IFBB pro, every single IFBB pro, every MPC athlete, anybody that is going to sign a contract, that's going to get involved with a company, that's going to work for a website, you need to have an attorney by your side. And you need to have an attorney look over anything that you sign before you sign it. I mean, this is Rule 101. And again, you know, I almost feel like I would love to see Evan go back to Universal, but you know, I don't even know if that's possible now, because you've got to put yourself in the shoes of Universal. How are they going to feel? You know, they were dropped to go, you know, because I think Evan thought that he was getting a good deal. Again, I don't want to talk more about this because it's really speculation, but there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of truth and intuition, you know, and my intuition tells me that he got shit canned by Prime. And, you know, when I read something like Project Bodybuilding, you know, that load of crap that, oh, you know, you didn't promote enough, and, you know, your work in R&D was subpar, and, you know, we could see this a mile away. That kind of talk to me sort of seems like, you know, it's I don't know, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't have to say it. I think you can deduce what I'm saying. Anyways, Evan, I'm your fan. You've got a ton of fans. You're a veiny mofo, and I think that, you know, the sky's the limit for you. I think you unfortunately got in bed with, you know, I think you made a poor business decision. I think, you know, in hindsight, you know, being 2020, I'm sure you never would have left Universal, but, you know, you learned through your mistakes. I hope you learned, and I hope that, you know, you just, I mean, who the hell am I to tell you about business advice? I'm just here telling you, I too know Mr. Singerman. I know what he's done. Look up the phone call. It's a video on my YouTube gallery where Aaron Singerman told Robert DiMaggio some 3 years ago that Jim Mannion was very mad at me and said I had to go. And Jim Mannion never called Aaron Singerman, and he never said anything bad about me. Actually, Jim Mannion, I think, likes me. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he does, but I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for Jim Mannion like Aaron Singerman did. And if you need more evidence, go look up Dave Palumbo's letter speaking about Aaron, why Aaron was fired from RX Muscle. Or maybe Mel Chancey's letter about why Aaron was fired from RX Muscle. Anyways, I have nothing else to say. You know, all I really have to talk about is the truth. And so the truth shall set you free. Thanks again. Take care.